Hello and welcome to a new series where I make videos overlooking the fighters of Westeros. This particular video will look at who I personally believe the best fighters in Westeros are at the time of the end of Season 4 of the television series. So this does include people who have not appeared in the show as of yet, who may, and a description of what they do. There are no spoilers. Everything that I describe has happened before the time at the end of the show. It just might not have been mentioned. The reason I'm doing this is because I've always wondered other people's opinions on the best fighters, yet whenever I look up videos, they tend to be more biased to fan favourites. Like this one video I watched, this guy was trying to make out that Eddard Stark was like the third best fighter in Westeros. It's just, come on, let's be realistic. I tend to find things on Reddit a lot more realistic, but that's reading. I want to make a video, so here you are. This is again the towards the end of the television series, so people who are dead by then are not included, and this is only the first half because I wanted to keep these videos to a certain time scale. So let's have a look. First up, we got the North. I've listed these three particular guys as the top fighters in the North. For each region, I will be picking out three fighters. You're free to your opinions. Please leave a comment on who you believe and why you believe, and have a bit of a debate. But here, first off, on the top left is Jorah Mormont. Jorah I've chose because he was known to have fought greatly in the Greyjoy Rebellion, where he himself showed great courage on the battlefield, being one of the first men through the breach during the Siege of Pike. He's also noted as winning the tournament of Lannisport, where he defeated great knights such as Lord Jason Mallister, Lord Jon Rice, Sir Hoston Frey and Boros Blount of the Kingsguard, as well as Sir Jaime Lannister. So yes, Jorah Mormont did at once beat Jaime Lannister. So that's why he's here. To the right, we have the Great Jon Umber, Lord of Last Half, towards the north of the North. He is a large man, nearly 7 foot tall. He is heavily muscled and known as a formidable fighter. Jaime Lannister himself regards this man as one of the strongest living men in Westeros when he describes who he think could possibly give him a good fight. So this man himself has been noted by Jaime Lannister as a man who could be on par of him. He's also known to wield a great, big, ugly sword, which Bran Stark describes as being the biggest, ugliest greatsword that he'd ever seen, making it bigger than Eddard Stark's sword Ice, seeing as Bran has seen that. Also at the Red Wedding, it took a whole 8 men to subdue him. He is, however, alive. At the current point in time, he's nearly 50 years old. He's strong, huge, and in jail at the Twins. Next up, at the bottom, we have Howland Reed. Not much is known about Howland Reed, but I've chosen him because of the Tower of Joy incident. If you don't know what it is, at the end of Robert's Rebellion, Eddard Stark, when he went to save his sister Lyanna at the Tower of Joy, took 7 men with him, one of which being Howland Reed, the only other survivor, who saved Eddard Stark from Sir Arthur Dayne, who was known as being the best badass fighter around at the time. So if Howland Reed was able to take him on, and even with a little bit of help from Eddard Stark defeat him, he is a notable warrior. He is also a possible candidate for the Knight of the Laughing Tree from the tournament at Harrenhal. If you don't know what it is, have a look it up. The Knight of the Laughing Tree is not known, but he's known as being short, which is a feature among people of the Neck, which Howland Reed is the lord of. He's currently known to be in his mid-30s, towards the end. He's also a greenseer. He can see a bit of the future, just like his son Howland, who's in the show up with Brandon. So yeah, he's a good guy. Next on, we go to the Riverlands. I've chosen these 3 characters. The guy at the bottom, Brendan Tully. He is the brother to the Lord of Riverrun, before he died. Currently Lord of Riverrun, and is his nephew. But Brendan was a very, very good fighter, and he still is. He gained most of his fame and renown throughout the War of Ninepenny Kings, where he fought alongside Barras and Selmy right at the front, and he caused a lot of trouble. So that's why I've chosen him. To the top left, we have Jason Mallister. This guy, it does appear in the books quite a lot, but I've not seen him in the show at all. He's a renowned Horny Knight. He defeated 3 of Rhaegar's bannermen at the Battle of the Trident. And later, during the Greyjoy Rebellion, he personally slayed Roderick Greyjoy beneath the walls of his castle Seaguard, which is right next to where I've placed his portrait. He's also identified personally by Kevin Lannister as one of the only standing threats to the Lannister campaign in the Riverlands, so he is known to be a good man. He's thought to be about nearly 50 at the time. He is a knight. So, next up, Hostine Frey from the Twins. He's known as a seasoned soldier, and he is thought to be the most fiercest fighter of Lord Walder's children. He's described as having arms thick with muscle, and he is compared in opinions to a bull. He's a good man to have around. He served alongside Roose Bolton during the War of Five Kings, and he then went up with Roose Bolton to the north to try and keep it under the Boltons. So he's a man I've chosen to add to this. Next up, we have the Vale, not the Reach, the Vale. First guy is this man on the right. He does appear in the television series towards the end. Not that much, but he is there. He's also his son, who is in the first episode of the first season, who gets killed by a White Walker, in case you didn't know. He's known as a tawny knight, but the reason I've picked him is because when he was delivering his son to the Night's Watch, maybe a couple years before the show, when he stopped up there, he practiced sparring with Ned Stark and Roderick Cassel, beating them both. And both Roderick Cassel and Ned Stark were known to be good fighters, so if this old man beat him, he must be very good. He's known to be about 60 years old. He's strong, good, big, strong man, and he is the Lord of Runestone, which is just underneath his portrait. Next up, we have Len Corbroy, the guy towards the bottom. He has a Valyrian steel sword, what's it called? Lady Fallen, which he got from his father. He led the assault against the Dornish lines during the Battle of the Trident, where he personally killed Lewin Martell. He's described as a very dangerous man by Lord Nestor Royce. Not much else is known about him, but he is known to be a very good fighter. Now the guy in the top left, that is Lothar Brune. He is noted as being strong. This guy has not told a thief as of yet, but due to his fighting on behalf of Joffrey Baratheon on the Blackwater, cutting his way through House Fossaway men at arms to capture Sir John Fossaway, as well as kill Sir Brian Fossaway and Sir Edwin Fossaway, which earned him the nickname Lothar Apple Eater, seeing as the Fossaway's sigil is an apple. He is awarded his knighthood for that, as well as granted land and a keep in the Riverlands as soon as the war ends. So he will be a landed man at some point. He is at the moment just in service to Lord Peter Littlefinger Baelish. He is his man-at-arms, I believe. So yes, next on to the Iron Islands. This is a culture known for having great warriors, so I did struggle to pick out 3 from here. But the first man to the top left is Victorian Greyjoy. He is the brother of Balon and uncle to Theon. He's known to be a large and powerful man with a bull's broad chest. He's a capable commander and a fierce warrior in battle, where he wears a helm the shape of a kraken and wields a very cruel axe. One of his noted actions was during the Greyjoy Rebellion. He sailed into Lannisport and was one of the first men to burn the Lannister fleet at anchor. I think he personally set their flagship on fire. He's about in his mid-40s, and unlike most Ironborn who believe in the Drowned Gods, he believes in R'hllor. So, there you go. Next, towards the bottom right, who I didn't find a very good image for, is Andric the Unsmiling. I've not heard him mentioned at all, but when I was doing some research, He is a Ironborn captain serving House Drum, which is one of the vassals to the Greyjoys. He is also described as having a thick arms and being very big and powerful. But the reason I have included him is because he is considered the fiercest Ironborn warrior. So, to be considered the most fierce Ironborn warrior even by anyone, when the Ironborn are a culture of good warriors, you know this man is top notch. So I've included him. He's around his mid-30s, he's very strong. So there's him. And the last man is Harris Harlaw. He is a knight of Grey Garden, which is a sub-holding under one of the vassals of, well, his uncle, I believe it is, who he is the heir of because his uncle has no born children, is a vassal of the Greyjoys. Harris himself owns a fief within that land. He also bears a Valyrian steel sword, known as Nightfall. So, he is a very good fighter with a Valyrian steel sword. Not someone to be messing with, and that's why I included him. He's towards his late 30s, and he's also known as being strong. So, there you go. That's the first half. In the next video, I'll look over the other regions. Feel free to let me know what you think. I've tried to choose who I believe personally is the best, even if they're not included on the show. But these people are all alive at the last point in the show and may have a coming up scenes in future series. So look out for them names. But these are who I believe to be the best fighters in their respective regions. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to disagree, but let me know what you think. Have fun and see you next time. Goodbye.